My name is Christina Saliba. My official title for the Cobb County Sheriff's Office is a Crime Analyst Coordinator. It's one title with many different hats, but I'm mostly known as the instructor for the Anger Management Program and the Parenting 101 program for the Female Compliance Dorm. Anger management is important because, to me, not everybody has the skills to navigate when they get angry and immediately go right to the explosive outburst. Anger is a very normal emotion to feel, despite what a lot of people may have been told. It's totally normal to get angry at things, but it's all about how you react when you get angry. So I feel it's incredibly important to take a class about how do I deal with it when I get angry? What are some of the skills I can use to take a step back and not have that explosive outburst? But what I have been told, at least from their perspective, is that they never understood that anger could be behind some of the behaviors they have. We as women have a completely different issue with anger than most men do, and I didn't know this until I was in graduate school. Research has shown women have a tendency to take those angry feelings and turn them inward and express them as self-destructive behaviors such as drug abuse, sex, food, gambling, any kind of addiction that's self-destructive. Society has kind of conditioned us to not express anger as women because once we do, we're labeled with derogatory labels. None of them could really understand that maybe anger is really behind why they keep going back to a lot of these self-destructive behaviors that keep landing them into the jail. Well, it's kind of hard to say because there's so many factors that go into recidivism, and I could talk about that for hours, but I would say if you have some idea of what's causing a lot of the behaviors that keep landing you back in jail, you might be able to stop that cycle if you have the skills. Like I said, not a lot of the women understand that anger could be behind what places them into these situations. So if you have an understanding of why you keep doing the things you do, perhaps you might be able to stop that cycle before it turns into coming back to the jail over and over and over. The course is 6 weeks. We cover a variety of topics to include triggers. We go over certain scenarios that they may face out on the street, in their personal lives. We talk a lot about trauma, and we do a long class about healing and why trauma might be behind some of those behaviors that they engage in. But it's every single class sort of bleeds into the next class, so it's sort of a big puzzle that after 6 weeks they hopefully have a better understanding. The most important one that I think, and one that I even struggle to practice in my personal life, is to take a step back, take a deep breath, walk away. Because if you go by your instinct when you get angry, that's where a lot of problems come about with saying things you don't mean. You know, throwing punches, throwing hands kind of thing. If you go by that instinct without really thinking about it, that's where a lot of people get into trouble. So I always tell them, and I do the best I can to practice what I preach, take a step back, count to 10, go into another room, sort of come down, if you will, and then when you're a little calmer, approach whatever it is that caused you to get so angry. Because one of the other things that's also very important that I explain to the detainees, you might not necessarily be angry, but you're expressing yourself in an angry way. Anger can be very much a secondary emotion. You might be feeling sadness, humiliation, pain, grief. So that also gives you another minute to sort of think to yourself, well, why am I feeling this way? What's really behind why I'm expressing myself as anger? Am I feeling sad? Am I feeling this? Am I feeling that? And when you have that understanding, then you can approach it with, I feel sad because, I feel angry at this because, kind of thing.